No man in the world. No man in the world.
The measure of any society is how it treats its women and girls. The measure of any society is how it treats its women and girls.
We create
The smart, powerful, creative, accomplished young women.
We can fight.
I'm here because of you. I'm here because girls like you inspire me.
Buckle up, buttercups. It's another episode of Surly Voices here on WMNF Tampa 88.5. My name is Liz. I'm one of your hosts. My co-hosts Donna and Maria are joining. How are you, Donna?
I'm good.
Awesome. And Donna has a special surprise for y'all in a second, but let's say hello to Maria first. Hi, Maria.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
Doing fine, thank you. How are you?
Doing okay.
All right. So, Donna, you have brought us a guest today.
I apologize for my voice. I am not well. I am in Minnesota. So that's where I'm broadcasting from to you this morning. I've got Tim Hunt. Now, Tim is, I've been following and covering the Dump Duke movement. For context, for those of you who are new, every 30 years, as per the contract, the folks in St. Pete in Pinellas County, they get to renegotiate their contract with Duke Energy. Now, there's a group inside of DSA. There's a movement inside DSA. They are, along with City Councilman Richie Floyd, who is helping them lead a movement to notify St. Pete residents that this is happening and get them to sign up to do the work to get rid of Duke Energy. As you all know, in every segment of our society, costs spiraling out of control. Some of those costs are being offlet to consumers. Many consumers don't feel this is reasonable, which brings us to the discussion that we're going to have with Tim this morning. Now with us is Tim. He's 34. He was born in Pensacola, Florida. He graduated from the University of West Florida with a BS in biomedical science and a minor in chemistry. That's pretty heavy stuff there.
Yeah.
Tom began his political journey while volunteering for the Bernie Sanders campaign in 2020 and officially joined the DSA in 2024 where he engages in public outreach for local campaigns such as Dump Duke. In his free time, Tom enjoys going to the beach. He likes concerts and spending time with his 5-year-old border collie, Nixie. Good morning, Nixie. This is so that's what we're going to do this morning. So we're just going to get right into it. I met Tom at a canvas last weekend, and he was very excited about the things that are happening inside the movement. I wanted to bring him on and give you guys a bird's eye view of, because people are going to wake up a year from now and go, huh? No, that. So let me ask you, good morning, Tom.
Good morning, Donna. How are you doing this morning?
I think I called you Tim earlier. I apologize for that. Okay.
It wouldn't be the first and it won't be the last.
Okay. So the first question for you is, why should Dump Duke be important to Duke customers? And what do you think will change for customers if the city takes over?
So, Donna, I think one of the important things why the residents of St. Pete should care about the Dump Duke campaign is currently residents of St. Pete are paying some of the highest kilowatt hour rates for electricity in the state of Florida. Right now, no one has a lot of extra money, so the big thing we're trying to do is save the residents money on their utilities.
Yes. So that brings me to my next question. And I ask everybody this question. Can you all hear me well?
Right now we can. You're kind of fading in and out at times.
Okay, I'll try to move towards the signal. My next question is, how does DSA differ from the Democratic Party? I think that right now, if anything, Liz, I know you're going to say something about this. Describe the DSA vision and like what it is. We hear DSA a lot. We've been hearing it since AOC was elected. We've seen people in the city march that are affiliated with DSA. We see the Red Rose. So tell us about DSA and how it's different from the Democratic Party.
So DSA is differs from the Democratic Party in that we're not a political party. We're a nonprofit organization that advocates for a better society for everyone. So I feel that the mainline Democratic Party, what they do is they'll go out and try and preserve the status quo, try and tweak around the edges, and at the end of the day, all they're looking out for is their shareholders and their donors. DSA differs from that in that we are going out into the community, we are looking for the downtrodden, the poor, the forgotten in today's society, and we're trying to figure out how can we make their lives better for everyone.
What does DSA stand for, Tom?
So DSA stands for Democratic Socialists of America. And so that is got a lot of attention during the Bernie Sanders campaign with AOC, as you say, especially now with Zohran Mamdani in the New York City mayoral race.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny how it's always vote blue no matter who until it's a Muslim dude running for an office in New York.
Yeah, I know, right? That's crazy. But so that would be, the big differences between the mainline Democrat Party and the DSA is we believe that a better future can be created today through democratic means and without the private ownership of property.
Okay, and now a lot of people get that confused with communism. Can you tell our listeners for the 10,000?
Yes, for the 10,000th time, we're not communists. We're not going to come in. We're not going to take your car, your toothbrush. What we're trying to build is a brighter future. You mentioned the roses that we use some of our imaging. That's meant to symbolize, the brighter future for all. So when we're out in the streets and we have these roses, we're trying to show people that there is a path forward, there is a way to create this brighter future, and we can do it together.
Got it. Heard. Thank you for that. Because we have been trying to explain to people on this show that socialism and communism are not the same thing, and that DSA is not a communist group, but I'm not sure that it's hitting. And it could just be the way it's being spun by opposition to that better future for all. Now, if you invited a St. Pete resident to participate in DSA and or the DD, the Dump Duke movement, how would you compel them?
I would compel them by talking to them. A lot of people, especially people my age, we're kind of burnt out, we're run down, we feel like we don't have power, we don't have a voice. And, a lot of times there are moneyed interests working against us. And a lot of times we tend to get drowned down in nebulous ideas. But here in the DSA, we work on local events, we work on local issues. And at the end of the day, I would compel them by telling them, you have to try. This economy is not working for many people. And the only way that we're going to get this change is to stand up, organize together, and push back against this. And I understand that's hard. A lot of people can be demoralized, but at the end of the day, if we try and fail, at least we can say we tried.
Now, look, my question, the one that I've been stuck on since the beginning of this, is I've heard a lot of things. City takeover the public utility in St. Pete. will the bills be significantly lower? Because I got my own TICO issues over here. My bill was for 2 months $744.
Holy cow.
Whoa, insane.
Yeah, and when I lived in Ybor City, my bill was, oh gosh, $160. And then when I moved to this house in West Tampa, we were really balling out of control if it got to 280. And now it's almost $400. It's the one was over 400. One was slightly. One was they're pushing into $400 bill. Earlier this summer, when it was the hottest, we had one. And so if I were listening and I were living in St. Pete and I was facing, considering participating in this movement, I would want to know, to have modicum of certainty, this was going to result in a better outcome for my budget. So can you just, for the last question, can you tell us what is the anticipation? I think I asked Marley this too. What do you see as the realistic decrease in rates for a city-run utility?
And Donna, you're still breaking up really badly, so maybe move closer to your router.
Doing it now.
Okay, thanks.
Okay.
All right, Tom. So how can the folks of St. Pete, if Dump Duke is successful, how can the folks in St. Pete anticipate their monthly bills going down?
Well, I'm so glad you brought this up. And this is a very important thing I want to stress right now is we don't want to start talking dollar amounts right now. The first step in this project is getting a feasibility study done by professionals to be able to analyze what it would cost to remain with Duke versus what it would cost to create this municipal power grid. What I can tell you is that cities like Lakeland have a 40% reduction compared to us in their power bills. A study recently just came back in Tucson, Arizona. I understand, it's a little apples to oranges because it's not Florida, but their residents over in Arizona would save around $240 in their first year. And by year 16, they could be saving about $1,000 annually on their bill.
Okay. That's. Yeah. In addition to that, I think Lakeland's probably an accurate comparator if you're looking for something within Florida.
Yes, absolutely. And then I just want to touch on it. We really haven't had time to dig into it, but Clearwater just recently finished their feasibility study for them to move to a municipal power grid. And from what I saw, just looking at some of the preliminary data, it does show that they will save some money on their bills.
How much is some?
I can't recall the number off the top of my head, but the important thing is with municipal power, the bills are lower. We also have democratic accountability, whereas with Duke, one of the big things, if your power line goes out, your power pole is shattered, you're having to deal with bureaucracy. Here, if we have issues with the power grid, we have issues with billing, we can talk to our elected city officials.
Okay. Well, thanks so much for joining us this morning, Tom.
Thanks. Thanks.
I'm going to call him Tim.
I'm so sorry. That's my fault.
No, it's okay. Thank you so much. And I just wanted to plug for anyone who is interested in the campaign, we have an active Instagram. So you can go to Dump Duke St. Pete, and we will post notifications for our upcoming public events, our canvassing. Our next one is going to be on October 4th. And for anyone who's interested in joining the DSA, you can go to www.pinellasdsa.org, and that will be our chapter's website. And from there, you can learn more about our Dump Duke campaign as well.
All right. Thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
We've got Chris in Clearwater on the phone. Hello, Chris.
Oh, good morning. I was hoping to speak with Tom.
Oh, sorry.
Because,
you heard his deets, right? So you can get a hold of him otherwise.
Well, yeah. But we don't need to wait for politicians to take action. Of course, I don't think it does too much if you're fighting them and protesting because they're blackmailed by the Israeli child sex rings like Maxwell and Epstein. But
Okay, let's.
what we can do is focus locally. We don't have to just wait for them to be responsive. We can, as I mentioned before, and I find that you can turn a communist into a capitalist without any words, by showing their own value that they can realize through more equitable commerce media like community currencies, time banks, barter networks, cooperatives, swap shops. And, people want to be able to keep the wealth local and talk to their neighbors and deal, with people locally where they can get better quality goods and service, heirloom quality goods, like I've said before. And this is, I think, what really rewards people, that when they start to see their economy improving, and of course they won't have to buy deadly, defective, dangerous products from fellow wage slaves from across the seas, spewing CO2 to get here and all sorts of other toxins. I think CO2 is a plant fertilizer, of course, but that's why it's so demonized anyhow. And capitalism is simply the right to private property. It should explain how maximizing capitalism can defeat centralization of power, like communism or socialism or fascism, corporatism, which is what we are living under. A lot of communists say that communism's never been tried. Well, I'll say since 1913, Federal Reserve being a privately held corporation rigging the economy. That's the definition of fascism, and I think Antifa might want to get on that if they're into critically thinking people.
Okay. Well, thanks for calling, Chris. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Right.
Yeah, let's talk about Antifa, which is now outlawed.
Yes. Please.
What we need to understand is there is no such thing as Antifa. It's not
Right.
an organization. And so Trump saying that, Antifa's on the watch list and all this kind of stuff is absolutely, number one, ridiculous. And number two, it's fairy tale. So, Donna, what do you have to say?
Yeah, so the BLM organized with Antifa, and it's so not a thing that you're going to be able to find people who you might find a flag.
Right. There's a flag, but no movement.
Yeah, and you can take the flag to jail and send it to a Black Ops site. But, there is no, and the same people who don't know how to pronounce acetaminophen are the same people that are saying they're going to capture Antifa folks and throw them in the Pinta. So,
Yeah.
So, yeah, not a thing.
Not a thing. So what else is on the agenda for today, ladies? I want to talk about the lynchings in Mississippi, for one
course.
thing. And for those of you who don't know, there have been several instances of hanging in Mississippi. The biggest, most striking one was a college student at Delta State University, and his name was Trey Reed. He had complained to the administration about being bullied because he was black, and then all of a sudden he's found hanging on campus, and the medical examiner in their autopsy said no foul play was suspected. They were saying no foul play the day they found him hanging. So the family wants an independent autopsy, and Colin Kaepernick actually has agreed or offered to pay for this independent autopsy. Donna, Maria, thoughts on this topic?
I think, one, condolences to this young man's family.
Yes.
And community, because I know that they're in pain, even though we're hearing the immortal canonization of Charlie Kirk, but we're not hearing about this. And they actually found two people hanging.
Yes.
And not just this young man. Now, let me say that this is the headwaters, right? When the drums of fascism and of hate are being beaten from above, this trickles down to people who want to do others harm. So we're going to see lots of violence and a lot of vigilantism. Folks who believe that they are saving the United States. They're from the Great Replacement. Also, I sent you in the study, not in our study group, in our group where Laura Loomer.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
I mean, it's next level stuff, right? And
Right.
so she said it hurts her head that we have ghetto black, we can say this word, yes?
Yes.
Bitches who hate America serving in Congress. And then she goes on to denigrate Jasmine Crockett in other ways. And then if you look at the comments, this was actually on X, right? If you in the comments, people are using AAVE and saying some pretty terrible things about Black people, Black women. So this is just the beginning of what you can look forward to in a fascist society. Someone has to be the scapegoat. It's going to be immigrants, Black people, trans people, and the list is going to grow to people who thought that they were above the fray.
Exactly. And the other guy in Mississippi that was found hanging from a tree was a houseless person, and so you have the one of the anchors on Fox News saying we should kill homeless people, and it's like, say what? That dude still has his job. That dude didn't have to step down, and so it's just suspicious that within a day's time, these two hangings occurred, and no foul play is suspected. So, and there have also been a bunch of drownings. I don't know if it's in Mississippi or somewhere else of Black women and other marginalized folks. But yeah, you have this trickle down effect. You have people at the top and on media making the marginalized folks' lives miserable by saying these things. And Jasmine Crockett is an attorney. She is a representative. She is, all the things that this Laura Loomer character is not. And instead of attacking her on her ideas or things, she comes straight for the lowest she can possibly go and calls her a ghetto Black bitch in public. And it's like, what are you thinking? But that's all part of the grand scheme. And
they've got to decide what they want, right?
Yeah.
Because they denigrate Jasmine Crockett in particular and call her fake ghetto because she went to private school.
Yes.
She has advanced degrees. And now she's a ghetto. She's ghetto because why? Why?
Right.
And Lauren Boebert, GED Lauren Boebert is not.
Right.
Like, what's your criteria?
There's no happy middle.
I think we know what the criteria is.
Yes.
And it's certainly not your GED.
Right.
Right? Like, GED Boebert does not make your head hurt.
Nope.
Tell me why.
Right. We all know why. It's because GED Boebert is white.
Yeah, hand jobs in the movie theater and all.
Yeah, exactly. So that's going on. Then you have Trump showing his whole ass in front of the world and New York City. First by getting stuck on an escalator.
At the UN,
yeah. And then blaming the UN instead of his staff, who are actually the ones who turned the escalator off. Then getting up and complaining about how the teleprompter's not working. And then just going on the most bizarre rant imaginable. And it's like, oh, wow, aren't you guys so proud of this guy you elected? Oh, my gosh. So
It's embarrassing.
Talk about take you down in the world's esteem. United States used to be looked at as a really great country, and now it's like, oh my gosh, they've got this fascist clown running it. So let's talk to Dan in Tampa. Hi, Dan.
Hey, good morning.
Morning.
I know it was overshadowed by the Kirk assassination because it happened just a couple days before. But I haven't heard you bring up that Ukrainian girl that got stabbed to death on the, I don't know if it was a subway or commuter train, whatever. I'll let you go and I'll let you explain to the listeners what it's about. And
Well, why don't you explain to the listeners what it's
you
about?
tell us, Dan.
Yes.
Well, what did you see? I saw some poor Ukrainian girl in a car on, I don't know, what was it, subway or something. She was the only white person there. None of the blacks that were there did anything except to get up and take a bit of her bleeding out. And I'd like to see how you can hang that on white supremacy.
Okay.
Did we? No, wait a minute.
We
First of all-
didn't, number one.
I'll go now and just listen to you off air.
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, we're gonna keep moving because that was that was bait. That wasn't someone who wanted to make the public aware of his opinion about something that was painfully publicly. It was a public execution, the same as Charlie Kirk's.
Right.
And if he had something to say about that, then he should have said it. So what he's going to listen to is our next topic.
Okay. But yeah, nobody said that we were blaming it on white supremacy. So
yeah. So listen, if you're gonna call in and talk about something, don't do the straw man thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't build a straw man and then think that we're gonna sit here and debate it because we're not idiots. But thank you.
Okay. So you're listening to Surly Voices on WMNF Tampa 88.5. You can give us a call at 813-239-9663, or you can email to dj@wmnf.org. It's amazing to me how these stories are put out. For example, the shooting, the Kirk shooting, immediately everybody jumped on this is political violence, blah, blah, blah. And when it turns out that it wasn't anybody associated with the left, all of a sudden that kind of fades away. And then you have yesterday, there was a shooting at an ICE facility in Dallas. And Kash Patel couldn't wait to post this rack of bullets. And one of them said, anti-ICE. And we found anti-ICE bullets. And, I mean, if ever there was a ridiculous storyline, that was it. I told everybody in the group chat, I'm like, this is Wile E. Coyote stuff here. It's like, no. The shooter who has been identified, but they can't figure out what side of the aisle he goes on, has much in common with most mass shooters. He's white, he's male, he's young, he's under 30. So he fits the mold. He also is a big online gamer. Did y'all ever stop to think that maybe these young white men are radicalized because they have spent their entire lives listening to people like Rush Limbaugh and some of these other folks of Rush Limbaugh's ilk, telling them that, women are bad, black people are bad, everybody's bad except white men, and white men are being discriminated against, and it's everybody else's fault. And maybe that's why young white men are taking guns and shooting up everybody. What thoughts, Maria, Donna?
Well, I would say one of the reasons that white men are entitled and angry is because our media and the entire entertainment spectrum
Yeah.
shows them images and glorifies the settler state and brutal colonization. We call it cowboys and Indians. We call it John Wick. There are all of these stories where from birth you're fed this line that white people are omnipotent, that they're the the smartest, the biggest, the largest. And so when they grow up and their reality is not that, I think that programming, when the reality bumps up against that programming, these people become very angry. And then when you couple that with people like Charlie Kirk, people like Tucker Carlson, people like Jordan Peterson, people like Nick Fuentes, that's where you get this, entitlement and murderous rage.
Okay. So let's talk to Dennis in Tampa. Hi, Dennis.
Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
It's a pleasure to be on the air with both of you. One of the reasons why, and I know I hope this pleases. It's either, and you have to excuse me, it's either on Mississippi State or the University of Mississippi's quad that they still have a tree that they identify as the hanging tree.
Oh.
Awesome.
It's on either one of those campuses, and they not only celebrate it, but they have things that they celebrate under it. But that's neither here nor there. Of course, the hanging in Mississippi is insanely tragic. But there's so much that's weighing down the human spirit these days.
Yes.
If you give 10 minutes to everything that's going on, I don't know how some people can actually get one foot in front of the other one at times.
Yeah, you can never finish.
And to talk about the young man at that one college that was found hanging from a tree, did they seriously believe anyone in their right mind would climb up into a tree with a length of rope, tie it around their own neck to commit suicide, and then jump off into space to end their life? That's what they're trying to have us believe, not only in this instance, but in the instances over the past, oh God, since 1865 and since 1609. So I feel for you ladies, because you come on the air every day, and I've been listening the show, I think Tuesday, when we all learned that Jimmy Kimmel was going to be, given his job back? He didn't even mention Charlie Kirk in his comments that evening. This is how absurd that part of the conversation has gotten, much less the part of the conversation that pertains to the gentleman who is masquerading as the leader of the free world. Thank you for letting me rant. I know I didn't really bring together much of a cogent sort of thought there, but thank you for letting me have this time.
Thank you so much for calling, Dennis.
My pleasure.
Bye-bye. All right. Mike in Sarasota. Hi, Mike.
Hey, thank you for taking my call. I called last week and on charges about people making smear charges. And after I called, one of the hosts said, she commented that I, as a white person, could not dispute any black person's claim of racism on a particular issue. Now, I disagree, and here's why. On any racial issue, there will be a black person on both sides and a white person on either side, which means that however you define right on a racial issue, there will be a black person who is right and there will be a black person who's wrong, and there will be a white person who's wrong and a white person who is right. So we can't just say that just because some black person claims racism, that it must be, and no white person can be right about it.
I think you internalized that comment a bit much, Mike. It was more of a, this is something that we can't just say wasn't racist because we said so. So
well, I have heard that before.
It's not about feeling.
A white person can't talk.
There's an objective way to look at race as a power construct. Period.
Right.
It has nothing to do with who's right and who's wrong based on how you feel. It has everything to do with an objective examination of a power construct. Done.
Well, those are using some $10 words to describe some pretty simple phenomenon. Sometimes people say that there are things that are racist.
It's not about how people feel. People have been studying racism
black people can be
for
wrong
centuries.
Okay, yes. Everybody can be wrong, Mike, but you're missing the point. So thank you for calling, and please keep listening. All right. So, got a bunch of emails here. Do y'all want to talk about something right now, or do you want to hit the emails for a minute?
Emails.
Okay, let's see. Karen in Dunedin says, if Antifa is against anti-fascism and Donald Trump's regime, sign me up.
There it is.
We should all wear Antifa T-shirts, yeah.
We should also ask ourselves why he's going after the fascists.
Yeah. Why is he so against the anti-fascist? Yeah. And the memes are given on this point. There's like pictures of World War II folks, and they're like the original Antifa. Let's see. Thanks for covering this topic. Hanging. Wendy, love you ladies. And BTW, love Minneapolis too. Thank you, Wendy. Hello, Surly Voices. Hello. Please say when and where the lynchings took place. How recent are these? Okay. Thanks, Lenny. Yeah, the lynchings were only within the last week. And so the drownings have been ongoing for several months, but the lynchings only just happened. Let's see. DeMarco, this is a long one. Okay. Multiple recent shootings at homeless encampments in Minneapolis have resulted in injuries and at least one death. And then all right, so DeMarco is concentrating on homeless shootings. Let's see, 2 separate shootings occurred at homeless encampments on the same day, leaving more than a dozen injured. And then he's talking about September 23rd. An arrest was made in connection with the mass shooting near a homeless camp in late August. The suspect was arrested and charged with murder. His suspect's name is Green. Green is the 3rd suspect charged in connection with August 26th incident. Thank you. And for those of you listening along to me stumble through these emails, number one, I don't have my glasses. And number 2, the screen's kind of far from me. So I have to kind of strain to read these. All right, this is a voicemail. I personally think we need more ghetto black bitches in Congress. All right. And then my friend pointed out that Republicans are doing on fake outrage for Charlie shooting is I can't say that, unfortunately, Bubba, because Randy just sent me an email about something else we said earlier. But I appreciate the thought. Let's see. Your treatment of Mike was objectionable. I hope you go back and listen to it with an open mind. Ooh, this sounds... I wish this person had elaborated. Because, yeah. So anyway, I'm not even going to imagine what the treatment of Mike was objectionable is about, because if it were
This
that,
is not a Daughters
Yeah.
of the Confederacy meeting.
right.
Right.
And if you haven't heard the tagline we've used many times before, this is the most disrespectful show on the radio. And one listener, about 8 or 9 years ago, wrote in and said this is the most disrespectful show he's heard in 20 years of listening. So we're not here to make friends. We are here to talk about the systems that are either helping or hurting the marginalized folks in America, and all of us by extension. So that's only one of the things we're here to talk about. We're not here to be polite, because politeness is a tool of the patriarchy. And if somebody is wrong, then they need to maybe look at it. Like I said, when I talked to Mike, he internalized one comment and it bothered him enough to where he called back today. So let's see. There are moments when you channel Morton Downey Jr. and cut people off and do not let them finish their sentences. That's what you did to Mike. Okay, that's helpful. All right. Morton Downey Jr. Is a bit, well, okay, I'll take it. I don't mind. Donna?
Nope. Not doing it.
Yeah.
You see, what's happening is I can hear this conflagration of hatred. I can hear some of it coming through in the way our listeners are speaking to us. This is what people like Charlie Kirk do. It emboldens people to challenge things like racism as a construct, right? It's a system.
Yes.
And so when Black people say, and this is going to help you all out, I think, when Black people say, I am a victim of the system of racism. So when we talk about that, we're not talking about they didn't take my order, right? We're not talking about that. We're talking about when your name is Brenisha, where does your resume end up?
Right.
And how that reduces opportunities. We're talking about redlining, Black codes. You know, we're talking about, and then we are talking about also microaggressions, because this contributes to blood pressure and other health challenges in the African American community. The disparity between lifespans between Black people and white people. And if you look at trans people, the average age of a Black trans woman is 35 life expectancy. That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about what you like or what you don't like. This isn't a Candace Owens show. We can think.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, Candace Owens is surely, I don't know if she's thinking, but she's surely talking a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Antifa is short for anti-fascist. Orange Man does not like anything anti-him. Ah, good point.
Yes.
Kimmel absolutely mentioned Kirk. If you watch the entire monologue, he was sorry the man was shot and sent condolences to the wife, and she thought she showed grace to forgive the shooter. Oh, that's another thing too. The president of America got up in a memorial service and gave a stump speech and said that Erica Kirk was better than him because he does not forgive his enemies. So he hates his enemies. Let's see. The more you try to get into my and others' heads, jumping to conclusion and putting words in our mouths, the bigger the wall you're building between us. Again, some context on that would have been helpful. Let's see.
Also, we don't build walls. So
Right.
I was born, and that's like the Game of Thrones, right? I never went beyond that wall. It was all I've ever known. So don't credit me with building a wall. I mean, I have an ego like anyone else, but no,
Yeah.
I didn't build a wall.
Yeah. And as I don't even know what this said, what the context of this says. Like I said, the bigger wall you're building between us, who is us, and why do you think we're building a wall by just stating our opinions?
Exactly.
The man in Mississippi was found hanging from the tree. Breaks my heart. However, I take issue with the caller who asked if anyone honestly believed that a person would tie a rope around their neck and hang themselves from a tree. A friend of my daughter, white girl, who is 16 years old, depressed, going for counseling, and yet tied a rope around her neck and hung herself from a tree in a cemetery. She was found the following morning. I don't know the point I'm trying to make, but it really bothered me when I heard him say that. Okay. I'm not offering hate. I'm offering perspective. It's a shame you don't welcome that. Again, context. These are coming from, well, this one came from a repeat number, but different numbers. So I don't know what's going on. If this guy hated ICE, why did he shoot the ICE victims? Exactly. That was the first thing I said. It was, it wasn't anybody on this side because they shot the victims. If it were somebody that were truly anti-ICE, they'd have shot the ICE folks. Just because you don't see the walls you're building, again, call back or call in and we can have a discussion, but just vague posting on emails is not going to get the job done. Also wanted to mention the Dems standing strong on not voting for the budget to pass. The shutdown is looming. I hope they stay strong. Wendy. Thank you, Wendy. Okay. So, to whoever is doing all the vague posting, please call in and explain what you mean, because I'm totally lost. And I don't know, maybe Donna or Maria has an idea what you're talking about. I don't.
I have an idea. That someone said, I'm going to show these ladies that they're not that smart. You guys all listen in. I'm going to take them to task. And so they called in and they tried to bait us and we didn't take the bait. And now all of the friends are texting and saying, you did my pet friend wrong. You know what? You guys find another show, okay? Because this is not the one.
This is not the one. We will answer all the emails.
Right, absolutely.
Online. And so, yeah, it's like, oh, okay, so this is what you're going to say. Yeah, guess what? People get stabbed on the subway every single day, pretty much. Mm-hmm. Every single day is an exaggeration. This is not a citation to anything. But it's not...
More than anything, that was really horrible and sad, okay? I just want to say that. And he wouldn't allow us to say that because he wanted us to do something else. And I'm unsure what that was, and I hope I never know. But the point wasn't to bring attention to this horrible murder. What he did not say spoke louder than what he did say.
Yes.
The person who did the stabbing was very mentally ill, and people in the community knew it. So the a beautiful young woman lost her life.
And it doesn't matter where she was from or what color she was, it's still tragic.
It's still tragic, the same way the hanging is tragic, whether it was a suicide, like one caller called us into accountability to say, hey, suicides happen, or if it was a racial murder. And so what this caller wanted, I think we should stop here and just say this because people are listening and they probably want to know, well, what happened? Why didn't we hear it out? People are murdered for lots of reasons. And if the caller believes that he knew the reason the young woman was murdered, then he should have called in and spoke out on that. But what he wanted to do was use it as a wedge issue, right? To say, you guys covered this, but you don't cover that. We can cover whatever we want.
Right.
Number one. And number two, if you want, there's Facebook, there are all types of platforms you can use. If he feels that was a racially motivated killing and he wants to bring attention to it, then he is welcome to do that work. We've done work in the community. I've done work nationally. Dr. Cole has done work nationally. Liz held it down during the BLM era. If you're really about that life, then you do that. But do not call me and challenge me to say, look, Black people are monsters who are killing, beautiful, blonde, blue-eyed white women and make it into something that it's not. This none of that is going to help this woman's family. But by doing what he's doing, he's going to elevate people who will look at that and say, I want to go be a vigilante now.
Mm-hmm.
And then you might have a hanging in Mississippi. You see what I'm saying? Like that's the wedge, that's the wall, right? Like hanging a noose over someone's workstation where the woman got millions of dollars for it when I was a kid that worked at AT&T, the racial pictures in the locker room. These things are very clear and cut and dried. When someone is murdered, we have to get more information. Now, we know Kash Patel and the FBI are incapable of that, so we'll never know.
I mean, yeah, anti-ICE.
We'll never know the motivation for those murders. But don't call us and try to bait us. If you have something to say, come on and say, I noticed that you, the media at all, writ large, whatever, didn't cover this. And is it because of this? Say your words.
Right.
But don't call and say, yeah, I noticed you guys aren't covering this, but I'll go now and let you guys commiserate amongst yourselves. No, we're not going to do that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Let's talk to Tom in Largo. Hi, Tom.
Hi. I'm enjoying your show today. One comment I wanted to make, it's not really related to anything I've heard you talking about today, but kind of lost sleep about that. It was the electors, I think it was in Minnesota, where they signed something in the 2020 election about claiming they were electors, but they actually weren't. And they finally got the court case. And for some reason, the judge, I think it has something to do with them thinking that they thought they were doing the right thing or something like that, but they didn't get punished at all. That was really the only comment I had. I'm enjoying the show, though.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Tom.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Let's see. This is about the hanging. Has the investigation been closed and Kash Patel and the FBI ever called in? Thanks, John in Ozona. I don't believe the FBI has been called in, which may be a good thing because, gee whiz, Kash Patel is proving himself not up to the job. But we can look into that, John, and get back to you. Did you hear about Marjorie Greene asking for a vote to stop money from going to Israel, and a lot of Democrats who voted against it, AOC, Ilhan being two of them who voted no? I have not kept abreast of that. Let's see. This is from Kathy about the girl. Wait, let's see. The Ukraine girl. I would like to hear what you have to say about that also. I think we covered that. Let's see. This one says the compliant Negro is what is expected. When the Negro is not compliant, then there's a problem. Using deaths of innocent people to score points for some racist game is nuts. Keep going.
Right.
Bravo. Have a great week. Thanks, Wendy. All right. So, no more phone calls because Frank is raising his arm to give me the finger and he just did it. So, thank you all for joining us on Surly Voices on WMNF Tampa 88.5. Please join us again next week.
I like stunning, I like shining, I like $1 million deals. Where's my pen?
Recording stopped.
I like those Balenciagas, the ones that look like socks. I like going to the Tula, I put rocks all in my watch. I like texts from my exes when they wanna